The Stoner Society is your comprehensive guide to navigating the world of cannabis. Hosted by industry enthusiast Kat Henson as she explores the latest industry trends, discover the nuances of cultivation, and connect with a passionate community of like-minded individuals. Whether you're a seasoned grower, a curious consumer, or a budding entrepreneur, the Stoner Society provides valuable insights, expert interviews, and a platform for open dialogue of the plant we all love.
I'm your host, Kat. Diving you in today, we are sparking up a conversation that waves in the two elements that integrate into our life: weed and work. Everyone has a job, everyone works. Either if it's going through the challenges of navigating the workplace policies, sliding up the stigma around cannabis, either if it's that pre-work sesh some of us consume during the workday, and also that after work sesh. I believe that after work sesh is like everything we need to like dive into the cannabis industry and kind of integrate into our own life. So whether we're going to share you some tips on how to like smoothly integrate cannabis into your career path without burning any bridges. Because with the United States and all of the changes going on in the cannabis industry, we are coming across a pinnacle point where this destigmatization of cannabis is coming around. Plant of ours, it's a plant, dude. It's not manufactured. It's grown from God's green earth. That's just the way I foresee it. Everyone's different in their politics, and just like here on the podcast, we just try to give you the facts and leave out majority of our opinion. Keyword is majority of our opinion. But when you have that workplace kind of like stigmatization, it just depends on the culture and kind of understanding workplace policies. So let's break down the rules as the office game comes into just weed in general, from drug testing to like legal loopholes. We're just going to help you find that confidence. So for most places, if it's medical and you provide a thing, I think for most states, medical you can consume, but not during workplace hours. So it's like that after work and that, in that pre-work sesh to navigate that. And a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to drug testing for some states, if you're like, oh, I have a medical, I know in the state of California that if you have a medical, you can't do it. Out here, where I'm from, it's kind of like it's a big no-no if you get drug tested here in Arkansas. And just those deep southern roots and values are integrated into our laws, because we are a red state compared to where Alicia lives, and they're a blue state. And they've kind of really navigated the wrenches around everything. So when you kind of have a catch-22, either you, majority, I would say cannabis users do find work and profession in things that are either in the industry where it is socially acceptable. It's like you don't smoke, but you grow. You're in the industry. Yeah. Some people do. It's very, very, very few that you find in the industry. Either they're on a tolerance break or they're not. Also, to just like most people don't find or work in those high risk jobs that do consume cannabis, and they're kind of really clever about their use. And it all goes back to mindful consumption in the workplace, finding that even and balance. So we are becoming puff professionals here. We are just really having those discrete enjoyments of cannabis during the 9 to 5 grind while keeping productivity levels high and your reputation intact, because that's really what you want. For some people, it's just like, dude, you high? Yeah, I'm high. Some in workplaces, that is the culture where it's this unknown, underlined thing where it's like, we all smoke. Everyone knows you smoke. We all smoke. We all consume beforehand. Someone will come back from their lunch break and you'll know that they've been a little toasty. It's become that underlined thing where it's like, We all know the culturally. And so it's like kind of in your face, but it's very discreet because it in companies that don't, majority of United States companies do not endorse anything I'm saying. But we all do it. So as times change and as things progress, hopefully it just becomes an ale and a medicine in a sense. And for those who are recreational users, they just, yes, they may consume 20, throughout the day. They may be heavy consumptions, but they've learned to integrate that into a professional, and then learn to navigate it in a professional light. As in, for some workplaces, you cannot absolutely consume at all. Due to the fact that it either is one, a dangerous environment, two, a high risk performing job, dealing with anything with the public and with children in retrospect and everything. So like I kind of think of it as like the kindergarten jobs. And that's like everything you wanted to be when you were in kindergarten. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a cop. I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. Those are like, people that don't really consume, but there are some scientists in our community that have really taken down the metrical and like my biochemical aspects of plants, because now that we have medical marijuana, we've had it for years now, that it had to start somewhere. Someone had to just be like, that shit we used to smoke in high school, I wonder if this will help with cancer. And so that's kind of how we really have gotten to that place. But cannabis use does improve high productivity. So like it goes back to when we a couple months ago when we had our prior episode. You can go back, and it was called Being a Productive Stoner. That is basically what we are: high leveling, high functioning. Most cannabis users, you do have like high risk like performing jobs or become like very high performing in their workplace, and just as a personality, just as a personality. But they suffer from high functioning anxiety that's very rarely. So cannabis kind of like integrates. We smoking a blunt is kind of the way to go in that sense of like, yes, they've noticed that their anxiety levels aren't as high. Everything else is really like focus leveled. They're able to multitask in a way that is not for people who are like neurodivergent that do consume cannabis. It allows them to just focus. And if you hyper focus, those who suffer from hyperfixation, you can hyperfixate on things that are not important or productive to your day or to your profession and the work tasks that you need to perform throughout the day. So those who do consume through their 9 to 5, this allows them to have one of two things: bring down a certain level of stress, a base level of anxiety, allows super high focus to relate tasks. Or it could go one of two ways. You're at the end of your workday, you're just like, fuck this shit, I gotta get motivated, I'm gonna smoke this, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna pick myself up, I'm gonna do my damn job, and I'm gonna go home. And there also is the ritual of being kind of that motivation of like, okay, I'm going to consume and I can't wait home to get to home. So it's time to clear the air. Let's blow away the stigma around this plant and everything in the workplace. We kind of shine a light on like misconceptions and myths that offered insights into like intensive work culture. So like in some, I believe here in America, it's like you are like aiming for a level of perfectionism that you can never achieve. I just feel like our school system shucks us into a box where they're just rocking out the next form of like workers, and throughout the bunch we will get those intelligent minds that foresee and change the world, but also those little workers are the ones that really keep us going. And like the best analogy I would like to use is a beehive. So just think of the American public. We are a workforce. Our workforce is integrated into many different entry level jobs, executive mid level jobs, executive level jobs, and just the hierarchy of our economy, right? So most is that it makes you lazy, it makes you unproductive. It's a bad stigmatization. What will people think? Oh my god, my boss Bill can't smoke, or eat a little garden gummy here and there to relieve his anxiety and his stress from high level performing executive duties. Like it just comes to a point where like we have really fostered in like a non-inclusive work culture in integrating cannabis. It's kind of like I said earlier, it's that underground light of like maybe we consume and we kind of hush it. I know that for me, it's like, for instance, I'm not shy about my cannabis use, but I am respectful in the sense of like in the workplace, I guess. The first few months of my employment, I do not consume because I kind of wanted to see how the culture was. Was it just like two dudes that kind of like a fool, like I smoke, you smoke, and that was it? Or was it very prominent, like, oh, everyone smokes, but nobody talks about it? It's like, hey, I got this for you. Da, da, da. Hey, buddy, there's this. Yeah, it's a lot of that. Uh, and so for me, I've worked in both sets of environments where it is very stigmatized. Don't even talk about it. Oh my God, they're going to drug test you. And I have been let go due to my cannabis use because I could, even when I had a medical and they just didn't understand, and I didn't disclose it because at the time it was so early in the revolutionary thing. It was very stigmatized. It was like, oh, you're just a drug addict. No, it's not. I use cannabis because I have very high functioning um, depression and anxiety, and so for me, in order to focus and be able to be a productive employee within a company, I do consume. I do consume and foster those like things. But as like you become an industry leader, most people in the cannabis industry, if you're a cultivator, if you're um, a dispensary, even some smoke shops, they're just like, yeah, cool. As long as you get your job done, I really don't care. And I've had some of those bosses, and I've worked for some great people where, in the film industry and in the entertainment industry, where it was like, we know you consume. As long as you get your job done, I really don't care that, and you don't come smelling like a hot box from having to assess Cheech and Chong, which would be lovely to have one day. As long as it's done at a respectful and discreet level. And I think that as society changes, that will change, and addressing that it's responsible cannabis use is the key to a career success. But how do you keep your career aspirations from burning bright while enjoying the benefits of weed responsibly? Well, you kind of have to have that it's a personal and work life balance. Um, and with cannabis, if you are a consumer, most cannabis users consume throughout the day and all throughout the day, multiple times a day, multiple sessions, as long as the intentionality of it. So, like, I know that for me, if I want to be productive, I have intention and responsibility that if I'm going to consume before I go to work, that I'm not gonna get super fucking blazed out where I'm a couch potato like I would do on my day off. I would pick different types of strains. Majority, if I'm going to work and I'm consuming, I pick hybrid strains, because I feel like a hybrid strain gives you that relaxability of an indica of coming over your body, relieving that anxiety, but still has the upper motion of a sativa that brings into a whole new sense of focus and productivity. So you kind of get the balance where you feel very chill, like in your body, and if you have aches and ailments and backaches and things from either high performing labor jobs, or just headaches from sitting at a desk all day. It's just all really a concept of finding that weed work balance and really integrating into the success. Some people really enjoy and qualify that after work sesh. That after work sesh is like instrumentally, crucially important to majority of us. It's more of a spiritual and ritual sense. For me, it's like fuck yeah, I had a shitty day at work. I can't wait to go and sit here and smoke a bowl and take a shower and go to bed, right? So, but that's part of that unwinding, relaxing process. You still went to work, you worked your ass off, you did your 9 to 5, you did the grind. Now you're coming home and you're like, fuck yeah, there's a bowl waiting for them with the house. They've got, their little stash. And it's integrating into that kind of self care while giving yourself a 9 to 5 grind reward in the process. Like, I worked my ass today. Today was the most shittiest day. It was Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. And I feel like I've earned this. This is like the treat at the end of the tunnel for most people. So that after work sesh really goes into a lot of other aspects into our personal life too, because I'm hanging up my work hat for the day and I'm just gonna sit my stuff and I'm putting on my personal hat. And what I do in my personal time is not a it's my time. When I work for a company, I'm on their time. And then when I'm clocked out for the day, they're on my time. So my time is valuable and precious to me because I am such a busy person. And for those of us that are busy, constantly on the go, and for it kind of that after work session really kind of grounds you, makes you realize like, hey, I need to just sit down and relax. I need to talk it out. It's kind of more ritual in a sense of like, all right, I got my stuff, I got my papers, or I got my bong, or whatever you consume. It's just like I'm sitting down, I'm being focused on the things that I feel. Put on my favorite show. I like to put on stoner classics as that after work sesh. How to integrate that. So right now I kind of find shows that I am somewhat interested in, but I've seen so many and they're kind of considered like safe shows. So like I don't know how much I've seen The Big Bang Theory, or I've watched Family Guy, or like shows like that. Where I already know what's going to happen and how it's going to be integrated in a sense. And it's really about setting boundaries and managing your tolerance. So tolerance breaks are really insightful and special to integrate, especially in the workplace, because you need to bring back your levels. If you're consuming through that 9 to 5 grind, you really can't just kind of like be like super high and then go right down. It has to have some tolerance. Some tea breaks will really help out the key points in which part of your day you can consume cannabis when you're back to it. What are your pain points throughout your work day? What are other coping mechanisms that you can use in a sense than cannabis? And also like the cultural like tolerance around it, and how it maintains a reputable reputation, and staying on that career path and setting boundaries. Like, hey, for some people, it's like, I only smoke before and after work. I don't smoke at work. And for others, it's like, well, I only have that after work sesh. Or, that wake and bake before I go to work, that's how I'm going to do it. And then I'll consume later on. And then there are those who are just like, fuck it, I'm on my lunch break. It's just my sandwich and my blunt. And that is perfectly fine. It's all about your career success and the responsibility of responsible cannabis use and how to get ready. So the way that you maintain responsible cannabis use in your career path is setting boundaries, maintaining your tolerance, maintaining a sense of self-worth, and stigmatizing the misconceptions and insights to foster a more inclusive work environment. Also, in order for us to be pop-up professionals, sometimes we have to come up with savvy strategies for discreet cannabis use during the 9 to 5 grind while keeping your productivity levels high and a reputable reputation intact and how they're perceived. Maybe you're in a management position or you're the boss of a Fortune 500 company, but cannabis is that little friend that helps you through the day, and in whatever instance you want to pop a gummy before a high level executive meeting because you feel like it will relieve your anxiety. You've got a huge corporate account there you're going to close. Fuck, you've been flipping burgers all fucking day and you just feel like a ugly grease monkey. And you've been dealing with customers who are rude and disrespectful, and you're just like, dude, I just need some stress. And but it's all about keeping that and navigating that discrete inability to do so. So we are going to walk out being puff professionals today. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful solo session. If you like more that is yet to come, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. That's where we post all of our new and inviting content. And this episode and all of our future episodes and past are all partnered with Pods Network. Us on Pods Network, that is our podcasting network that we are joined by a million they have other podcasts that are coming out daily, and we're picking up and we're growing, and we are a wonderful partner with Pods Network, and we were excited to see y'all and everything else. And just don't forget to check out down below, listen to show notes or our bi-weekly newsletter where you'll get to know more things exclusively before anybody else. So stay lit, and I can't wait to talk to y'all later.